Another great video from the channel is Complicated, where they ask the hard questions of the average person in the street. In this case, are men the disposable gender? And of course, the answer is yes. Yet these people who want to pretend they're about equality will try and frame this in a positive light. They will fail, of course. So let's get into this.
What's the most famous love story ever told?
Oh my gosh. I guess what would you say, Romeo and Juliet?
If the most famous love story has a man and a woman dying for each other, why are love stories usually framed where the man sacrifices himself for the woman?
Because he should. All men should sacrifice themselves.
See, no equality there whatsoever. Men should just be throwaways. I find men who want to be women are the most misandrous people out there. Out of all the people they show here, this person's the worst. And of course, trust me, he believes that he's one of the good ones. When he's talking about men, he means other men, not him.
What's the reason behind that? Where does that come from?
Why? Because men are destructive to society and women should reign.
See? But not me. I'm one of the good ones. That's what he's saying, right?
I think it kind of goes back to biblical times where the man should be the head of the household. They should make the sacrifices. The women just follow and be submissive. And
See that? Like, there's two women, by the way, in this video, and they represent the two extremes of women. The other woman is outwardly hostile. This woman is softer, but in the end, she still is anti-male. The other woman is probably would be the type to be an feminist activist, and this woman represents the average woman who just lets things go and just flows and enables it, right? But anyway, of course, she brings up religion. They have to bring up another source to validate their hatred, right, of men. Right? And also, the man is submitting. He's working and he's sacrificing. So what do? They gaslight. Say the woman's submitting. The woman isn't submissive. A man working for her doesn't make her submissive. The boss isn't submissive to the employee lady.
the man leads.
I think that's kind of just the way that society's gone, where men are the ones who are supposed to fall on the sword. Man's hands are dirty so that women's can be clean.
No, no offense to you ball cap wearers, but I find every time there's a guy with a ball cap, he's as dumb as a post. Right. Now, this guy's talking about this as if it's something that just happened today. It didn't happen in the past. Chivalry came out in the Middle Ages. Like, what's that? 5, 6, 700 years ago? But this is happening today. It's just today, right?
Because that's how it should be. I mean, if you're a provider.
Just the way it should be, right? See, this woman just comes out and says it. This is the way it should be, man. Men should serve women, and their lives aren't important.
Then you should be willing to lay your life down for your woman.
So notice that if you want to be the provider, you should be able to lay yourself down. What if men don't want to be providers then? When the answer is, sorry, I don't want to be a provider. And even if you were a provider, why would you also lay down your life? I mean, if you work for somebody, you're the employee. Do you think you should lay your life down to your employer, lady? Of course she doesn't. All she said here is men are beneath me and I don't care about them, but they should just work for me.
You know, I don't have a problem being in the role as a man and like sacrificing for a woman that cares about me, but
There you go. See, I don't mind being second fiddle, right? Men are such subhumans.
really the way that society is these days in America especially, it's like
Well, there you go. Society these days, this is a recent problem, guys. And in America, you don't see all this misandry worldwide. Like you don't hear them talking about drafting men in Germany right now, or Ukraine, where they're grabbing men up from the streets and forcing them to die in the war. This is just an American problem, dude. Again, these ball captors, part of being stupid is solipsism. You know, it's just everything's about me and right now.
Like the women want everything from the man, and they're not willing to give anything in return. They want chivalry, but they're not willing to reciprocate with, being in their feminine energy.
Now, what does he mean by that? Feminine energy. No, it was just such a nebulous term. What he means is the woman puts on a mask that where she pretends to care about me. So I don't mind this unequal relationship as long as she at least pretends to care about me. This guy's a real subhuman.
It's really tough in this day and age, especially in Las Vegas, trying to date.
Again, hey, it's this day and age, man. This day and age, and Las Vegas, this isn't worldwide. Human nature is different elsewhere,
It's crazy.
Do you believe in 50-50?
It's crazy. How's it crazy, dude? You admitted you were willing to have these roles. If it's crazy, you're crazy.
Relationships or traditional roles, and why?
It depends. So me personally, I go for 50-50 because I love to work and I love.
She's lying. She doesn't. She just admitted in the past, earlier in this, that men should just serve women and die for her.
To provide, but if a traditional, like where the man provides, works, then that's good for you.
Yeah, full of shit. Really? Hey, did this lady mention her boyfriend, her husband, and they're both working and they make the same amount of money? No. She'll deselect any man who doesn't want to fulfill that gender role. Okay, back to genius here.
How can relationships ever be 50-50 when the man's expected to sacrifice himself for the woman and serve her with chivalry?
That's a great question. I mean, it can be reciprocated.
That's a great question. It can be reciprocated. Right. He didn't answer it because he has no answer for it. The answer is no. That's why he said, that's a great question. It can be reciprocated, right?
It can go both ways. Like the man can sacrifice while the woman is also sacrificed. So 50-50 can be the man sacrifices himself with chivalry, respect, and all that. And the woman is at home cooking, cleaning, taking care of the housely duties. That in itself is 50-50.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't, you lying sack. The man sacrifices. So the man throws his life away and works, and the woman just hangs around the house and does some chores. Screw you.
Why will men sacrifice their personal happiness for their family, while women will sacrifice their family for their personal happiness?
That's a great question. Thank you. It's complicated. It's framed perfectly because it's framed with the understanding that's the way it is.
Ooh, that's a good one. So you can't just paint a picture of it because it's different for every woman. I would say women are expected to, literally give up everything. So
the way he framed the question, she's answering that women give up everything. Notice again, it won't be what exactly everything is.
It's okay, I would say, for a woman to choose herself for once, when in history, she's always chose her family first.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Choose herself for once. This video, it's complicated, is getting me riled.
I'd say that's just the way that society has etched it out at this point. Feminism has kind of corrupted the whole thought of sacrificing for your family.
Really? So feminism is bashing on the idea that men should sacrifice for their family? Since when? And if they are, aren't they on our side? If that was what feminism was about, I'd be a feminist. I'd say, yeah, let's get rid of this lack of equality between the sexes. This guy is a complete dummy.
Feminists are kind of taking over, and it seems like they're mostly out here for themselves.
If a father of 2 kids sees a random woman attacked in public, should he intervene and protect that random woman?
Ooh, I would say yes.
See, they know that, hey, of course. Men serve women. Notice this, he's talking about like family, but once family is taken out and the woman's a stranger, she expects the same thing. So this is her talking about church and family. It's a non sequitur. This woman just admitted it. Men should just serve women, period. Be their bodyguards.
Well, if men are supposed to be protectors, why shouldn't they protect their own family first? Why should that man risk his life, potentially leaving his own kids without a father?
Yeah, exactly. Because this woman doesn't give a shit about families. None of these women do. Family just means them.
That you got me there. It goes back to biblical. I feel like
That's a non sequitur, see? So she has no answer. So she talks about Bible, right?
if he stands firm on what he believes in and helps, I think his family will be safe.
So if he believes in something, his family will be safe. If he defends someone and he might get killed, that is complete gibberish, right? This liar just can't come right out and say, yeah, I don't care about the man. Men serve women, right?
Should all men be held to biblical standards when not all men follow the Bible?
Well, actually, the Bible doesn't say that men should sacrifice for strange women. So she's telling a bold-faced lie again.
My belief, yes, but
Yeah, if you're not a Christian, just follow the Christian path no matter what. Of course, it makes no sense because he's really just saying men just sacrifice for women. Period. And you just want to just come out and say that. Because it lets the cat out of the bag.
honestly, you can't be held to a standard that you don't understand or you don't have knowledge about.
So
you can't be held to a standard, but I'm holding you to a standard. Right.
would say a perfect example of this is like the man who was out with his girlfriend and she got jumped and he was defending his girlfriend and stuff like that. I believe that if you see danger, you should be willing to be the one to step in. Like even me personally, if I saw that, I would be willing to step in and protect those people.
No, she's lying. She would do no such thing. This is just a bold-faced lie.
Now, continuing on that point, why should men be sent to war to fight someone else's battle?
Women are sent to war to fight someone else's battle as well.
No, they aren't. You're a liar. This woman's just an outright liar. Women may join the military. They're not conscripted.
But aren't men required to register for selective service, but not women?
That is true. Yes, they are. But that's just, again, if you want to go back to traditional roles, I mean, who set that system up? Men did.
See, let's blame men for this attitude, right? Right. But that avoids the question he asked. Right? Now, this guy's the worst, of course.
They set this system up. Men set up the system to be empowered, to be in dirty positions, to separate.
To be empowered. So men dying in war is empowering to us? How?
Gender roles, and I think that they should allow the fluidity of everybody entering in every role and every possible.
The fluidity of everybody? But dude, you're not for that. You're for men being disposable. You are the complete opposite of what you're claiming. You already admitted you want men to be subclass to women, a lower caste. See what I mean? Like these people, they always want to virtual signal that they're about equality while coming right out and saying they're against it.
Possibility that men think that they have to be part of.
Should men be willing to go to war?
Yeah, men think they have to be. If you're being conscripted, you aren't making a choice. Now, this woman, she's the other end of the extreme. Remember, the first black woman, she's an enabler. This one would be the turf.
War and die for a country that seems to hate them?
Are we talking about all men or black men?
What difference does it make, lady? She's trying to pretend that she cares about black men. Right? She doesn't make any distinction. She wants all men going to war, all men serving women, right?
If men are more valued in society, why would they be the first ones sacrificed in war?
Probably because there'd be no chance of winning that war if we sent women to it.
Because they're
Yeah, but that's not an answer, right? These are non-answers.
the ones that set up that value in the society. The only reason that men are quote unquote more valued in society is because they set up that system so that
No, they didn't, dude. No, they didn't. These women admit they deselect men who don't follow those gender roles, those traditional gender roles. So they're the ones who do the setting up. They're the ones who make the demands. So you are wrong and lying.
women and anybody that's not a white cis man is
See, there he goes. White cis man. So this man, this is a pure man hater right here, right? He doesn't make distinctions though. He says white cis man, but he didn't say, oh, by the way, black men shouldn't be disposable. Gay men shouldn't be disposable. He makes no distinction whatsoever. So again, this is what I mean. This is the feminist mindset of the LGBT, right? I assume he's a part of that because he has their attitude, right? He said, we care about minority men, but we include all men in our misandry.
valued more. So they should be the first to go to war and be sacrificed.
Why would women appreciate the sacrifices men make when men are required to make those sacrifices to qualify as a man?
Perfect question. Perfect. Hey, thank you. It's complicated.
I think that it's preached throughout social media that women.
Social media, really? What? So the internet brought all this on? Like men weren't told to, hey, genius, ball capper, how to explain the white feather campaign where the suffragettes were stuffing white feathers in men's lapels to shame them to go to war. That was way before the internet.
Women should just want more, and more, and that intrinsically is going to translate into them not appreciating when a man actually does something for them.
I think
That was gibberish. Listening to that guy is painful. Right? This woman, oh my God, it's Skeletor here. She's a hateful woman.
that men should take the bulk of responsibilities. It is their position in life. They're born into a world that is designed for them to be successful. If any
No, you're full of shit and you're lying. 95% of the homeless people are men. It's not designed for men to rise. It's designed to throw us away. That's why it says, are men disposable? And you're agreeing with it. So you're contradicting yourself because you're a liar. You're a bold-faced liar.
body has the best chance of being successful, it would be a man.
So why aren't men the ones placed on a pedestal?
So just because men achieve success, they should be treated as subhumans? No jealousy there.
And entitled to go first instead of women?
Because men are a dime a dozen.
I mean, they
Genius. There's one woman for each man. So we're not a dime a dozen. If we are, women are as well. That guy is dead brained. Now, when he says dime a dozen, he means like, I don't care about men. So he probably wouldn't mind if there was one guy for every 100 women, you know. He's that kind of sick-brained person.
could. And in this new generation, we got a lot of guys that want to. I wouldn't be interested in one of those men in particular. But again, that's just
There you go. I wouldn't be interested in one of those men. She would deselect men. That's where it all comes from, right? And she's admitting it. This woman is anti-egalitarian. And vast majority of women are. Matter of fact, it's so vast majority, you just say 100%.
my personal preference.
What do women
Yeah, so it's her personal preference, but there's other women that don't think like her. Bullshit. It is the female preference.
provide that justifies a man risking his life?
Well, it used to be feminine energy, the ability to reproduce, and being a homemaker that takes care of everything aside.
See, so men should sacrifice their very lives because women give off feminine energy and they do household chores. What a loser. Sir, I don't know your personal name, but you are a loser.
From a man going out and providing and protecting.
Even if women did cook and clean, which they already do.
By the way, protecting means killing other men and taking their stuff. This woman on the street, who had attacked her in the last year? Nobody.
For themselves anyway, why would that be a fair trade for the sacrifices that men are expected to make?
Well, again, assuming that like you have traditional gender roles, the cooking and the cleaning, a man has to do that for himself as well. So why would the expectation be that a woman would have to do that in exchange for anything?
Well, he's working for you. He's providing for you. That's why. And it's not enough. That's not an equal. So she's saying an unequal relationship that favors her gender is still not good enough. Right.
If I have to go to work and take care of myself and provide for myself, once I get a mate, I don't feel like that role ends. I personally don't like being dependent on anybody for my sole everything. Like, I think there should be a partnership.
This is total lie. She just admits she would deselect men who didn't fulfill those roles. She's a liar. Lady, I don't know who your name are, but you're a liar, period. And a bold-faced one. This is misandry at its finest. Having complete contempt for men, expecting us to be disposable for our own personal gain, and then lying our ass off about it.
And if men want the respect, which is what I hear most men say, they want to be the king, I want to be the head, then you should take a bulk of the responsibility.
So for men to be respected by you, they have to work for you. Well, that's not what I call respect. Respect would be that you two would just get together and be with one another. Lady, if you want, you can live in your own apartment. He can live in his. All the cleaning he does is for himself. All the cleaning you do is for yourself. And you can just get together with him and be with him. You say, you can come to my apartment this time. I'll go to your apartment next time. We'll be together. Notice that's never on the table. Because these women do not want to partner with men. They want men working for them.
If that is how you feel.
Because I think that's what men want. Men want somebody that's going to take care of them.
But you just admitted, genius, that the man's the provider. So the women aren't taking care of men.
In the home, and I think women want somebody that's going to protect and provide for them traditionally.
If you expect the traditional role, and you're, out.
You expect the traditional role. Not once have I heard this woman say, by the way, I'm not a traditionalist. I want a man in my life, and I want a completely equal relationship. I don't want him to go to war. I don't want him to die. I don't want him to be disposed. I want him to be the exact same income level as me. None of these women actually make that claim.
Providing, making money, bringing home the bacon. Why wouldn't you expect your woman to, be at home taking care of the house? I would say that's a completely fair trade because that's an additional job taken off your shoulders.
See, that's a complete fair trade. I get to have the house to myself and do some minor chores, and the guy goes out to work. Everyone listening, I do the housework here at home. It's easy peasy.
Do Christians believe that men should be like
Okay, another ball capper expects stupidity from this guy.
Jesus, sacrificial, while women should be like the Virgin Mary?
I do. I am very religious, and I do believe that they should be that way.
Why is there more religious pressure on men to be sacrificed than there's religious pressure on women to be virgins?
Okay, he's thinking about this, right? Because in the end, no one forces women to do shit. All these guys give lip service to it, but society doesn't force women to do anything. As soon as women have the ability to dump something, they do. They tell society what's going to happen because they're in charge, and that's it.
Honestly, I feel like that answer is answered depending on what culture you were born in and what religion you believe in.
If you look at the Bible,
That was a non-answer.
it's like women being virgins and like men sacrificing. It's like men aren't expected to sacrifice that much versus if you look like in other countries, like women are expected to cover up and stuff like that. Like men.
So you're trying to compare men getting their heads blown off in war to women decide wearing a particular kind of clothing. Also, men in those countries are expected that too. They're expected to grow beards. You know, they have a clothing, limitation. They can't just wear whatever they want. So what does bringing up the Middle East anyway have to do with what's going on here? She expects men to be disposable here in the United States. So bringing up the Middle East is full of shit. It's just a way to obscure the problem, what she actually believes.
Don't have that same expectation.
If religion is a choice, why isn't dying in war also a choice?
I think that's because that's been the standard set for us for years.
Yeah, see, non-answer. That's the standard set, but set by who? Right.
Because of the draft, because of government stipulations on who has to go to war and who not. I mean, there hasn't been a draft for a while, but
Dude, people vote on this. Who'd you vote for? How come you guys don't find a candidate that actually says, no, we don't want to, we want everything equal. We want either women drafted or men not. Right? So you support what the government does. So there's no point in you blaming the government.
I could see that happening at some point.
Does history justify an injustice that's been taking place?
It plays a part.
Well, why defend the injustice of male sacrifice just because it's happened in the past?
Ooh.
No, she's the other extreme, right? She's a person who wants to believe she's a good person. She's not actively hostile to men, right? Right? But she still supports it all.
You've gotten me.
She's the only one who showed any kind of honesty during this whole video. All the rest will just gaslight.
I don't have a response for that one.
In a country of religious freedom, why should someone's beliefs be forced onto others?
I don't believe anybody's beliefs are forced on anybody. We are in Sin City right now. Like,
lady, you're full of shit. This is a non-answer again. You believe men should be disposable. So you are forcing your views onto us.
if this is a Christian nation, this would be like Sodom and Gomorrah and burnt down, but that isn't how things are.
The short answer is they shouldn't. Some people are weak-minded, and
well, look who's talking.
They will be swayed in whatever direction somebody is telling them that they should be. But I'm not that.
No, I'm not that kind of guy. You're the one who turned around and said, this is modern. This is just the way it is. Come on, dude. You can't take the high ground now. You can't take the high ground now.
Okay.
Religious people and like I'm not religious, so I kind of feel strongly about that. Religious people always try to impose their views like that. Like if you just look in America today,
like you did, lady. You want men in their gender roles, the traditional ones, where we're worshiping and working for you. So religion is actually neither here nor there. Secular women like you feel the exact same way.
like they're always trying to impose religion in our laws when not everyone follows Christianity.
What are your thoughts on the following expression? Sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive.
I think that's disgusting. I don't think we should be putting a price on our bodies.
You see, this woman's so stupid, she doesn't understand the question. Because they said eggs, she's saying, oh, it's talking about us, As a female, I have to be revered. You can't just talk about my body parts like they're just body parts. By the way, these eggs, if she doesn't want to deal with one, she'll abort it. So she sees her eggs as just a body part when it's convenient for her.
Sperm's cheap because you can easily there's a lot of men willing to give that up, and I feel like it's not hard to go find a sperm donor versus the egg donor. I feel like would be a little bit more.
Well, I've never been to a
That was the only answer that made some sense to it. But she didn't get the question either. What they're saying is, what are men cheap and women expensive? That's what it is.
sperm bank. So I don't know how expensive sperm is, but I have followed stories of women who do IVF, and from what I've heard, it's incredibly expensive.
I think it's bullshit because, yeah, just any man's sperm is maybe not valuable, but at the same time, any woman's egg isn't valuable. It's like there's
That's the closest that this guy will ever come to a thought in his head, right? But all these people, they don't get the question, right?
genetics, there's quality of character, there's other factors that go into the value of each gender, each specific person's reproductive, whatever it is, juices. I don't know.
Why are women seen as more valuable based on the idea of repopulating a society when they're restricted to one man, one woman through God's marital arrangement?
That's a very good question. Like that, hey, it's complicated. That's a great question. If this is about reproduction, you see, the sperm and egg question is really saying, I'm going to defend my misandry against men by saying, hey, this is biological, dude. This is beyond us. But then he's bringing up a question is like, if we really care about reproduction, how come we're limiting reproduction? Right? Because this isn't about reproduction. That's the answer, guys. Reproduction is an excuse for misandry.
Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be some man that's willing to impregnate a woman, but there's not always going to be a woman that's ready to bear the children of any man.
Yeah, but that's not an answer to his question, genius. He's asking why are society limiting reproduction if it's such a valued commodity? And you had no answer for it. Frankly, you couldn't have an answer. You're too stupid.
I'm not sure.
How can men and women have equal value as human beings if men are disposable?
I feel like the only way to be equal is to both sacrifice the same things.
Why
Well, that's true. That's true, but you've never demanded that.
should biology or religion dictate a man's gender role any more than a woman's role?
I don't think that they do, really. Well, no, I take that
No, you're right. They don't. People demand this of men.
back. Men are stronger than women, and that is natural by design. I believe that women.
It's more nature fallacy, right? Men are physically stronger, therefore we should be a lower caste. Right?
Men are more innately nurturing, but having those
And
dominant.
that's a lie too. Women are more innately nurturing. Everyone should know, if you don't, guys, that the vast majority of child abuse and elder abuse is done by women. Women are not more nurturing than men. That's a bold-faced lie that you have to reject out of hand.
Qualities, I don't think is a prerequisite for you being thrust into some type of American set gender role.
But you do demand that. You do demand that. You mentioned a man's greater strength. So you want men in their gender roles. So are you talking about America?
Why do we typically save women and children first in an emergency situation?
Because they're the weaker gender of the human species, and it basically traditionally men are protectors and providers, and that is
Again, he's bringing up traditional. Who gives a shit, right?
an act of
Something being the same in the past doesn't mean anything. We change all kinds of things.
that role.
How is being physically stronger going to help men survive when they sink on the Titanic?
Well, for one, they have greater endurance. So if Rose couldn't hold him on the door, maybe he could have swam, to a lifeboat that was a little bit further.
She's basically saying, you're on your own, dudes. Take care of yourselves. I'm getting a place in the lifeboat. Whether you live or die, not my problem.
But I think that's a dramatization. The reality is that I think men have a greater chance of survival because they are stronger.
I think it's kind
Yeah, but the Titanic, the waters were freezing. Having more upper body strength doesn't give you more body heat.
of like a societal norm that, men are physically stronger, so that's their gender role is.
So men are physically stronger, and that's a societal norm. Society made us physically stronger. Like this guy speaks gibberish.
to be.
But I mean, on the Titanic, being physically stronger didn't make a difference. They just were sacrificed because you're a man and you're disposable. So what does physical strength have to do with disposability?
I'm not sure it's so.
Perfect question. It doesn't have anything to do. That's the answer. Of course, these people can't give that answer. Right?
So much physical strength. I think that, in that day and age, women were valued more as being the gender that can reproduce. And
Again, that day and age, when it's happening now. Notice he's switching up. It's like today, it's different today. Now it was different in the past. Right?
children being innocent, and basically men are sacrificial. Like they're a dime a dozen.
Why does
Again, men aren't a dime a dozen. There's only one man for every woman. Right? So he's being a misandrist. He says, there's just too many men. I don't like them.
our society base human value on reproductive potential? Doesn't that violate a woman's consent to having kids in the first place?
Oh, perfect question. Because this woman, she's going to be the first one to turn around and say, yeah, my body, my choice. But she's willing to use that argument to enslave men.
I mean, yeah, I think as a whole, we base our society way too much on reproductive potential. I mean, me personally, I choose to be child-free, and I really value a woman's choice in that.
Okay, so again, you have no excuse for demanding that men provide and protect for you.
I think it does violate their consent, but at the same time, subconsciously, we're all wired to continue the human race, and we're all wired to enjoy sex, and that's what results in the human race.
How does enjoying sex mean that men are disposable? If women enjoy sex, wouldn't they also be disposable?
Race continuing.
A lot of people believe all women should be only on this earth to procreate and be a wife and be
This is complete lie. This is complete bullshit. This guy is definitely a male feminist. No one believes that.
taking care of their families, and that's just not how it is. Let every woman decide what is best for their life, their families, if they choose to have one.
But men don't get to decide. We have no decisions. We should be destroyed because we cause all the harm. Right.
Aren't we assigning women more value?
Hey, it's complicated. Just a question of my own. How did you manage not to punch that guy in the face?
Based on something women don't want to do? In other words, wouldn't the record low birth rate show that women don't want to reproduce?
No, I think women's.
Look at her think. Because he just called her out, and now she's got to do mental gymnastics.
Lessened desire to reproduce has more to do with the fact that we're expected to reproduce and work full-time jobs and cook and clean and
Yeah, I got to work for a living, right? So I don't want no babies. That's extra work. Babies are work, right? Which I agree they are. But I mean, this woman's full of shit. So men should be disposable because you have to work for a living and might have to sacrifice to have a baby.
Women have discovered that it's not all it's cracked up to be.
If we judge
So therefore, we men should serve you and considers our lives worthless.
human value based on reproductive value, why won't women become disposable when they hit the wall and experience menopause?
Perfect question. So this loser here, this misandrist, he's been lying on the back of, procreation and we value reproduction. Now this debunks that horseshit. What's he going to say?
Because they still have value as humans, as souls, as homemakers, as
So even when women can't reproduce, they still have value as people. But we men, we don't have value as people. See how that works? The contradiction, stupid people, nasty people can't help but contradict themselves. So men are thrown away because women are important for reproduction. But once women are no longer able to reproduce, we still value them. Right.
intellectuals, as caretakers, and other things that women
Well, men are all those things, dude. So how come we are disposable?
are good at.
But why would they have more value than a man?
I would argue that they don't have more value than a man. I think that
But you've been arguing for that. If that's what you believe, then when he asked about disposability, should have said, no, that's wrong, and I'm against it. But you didn't say that, did you?
value of whatever menopause age 60-year-old woman and a 60-year-old man is roughly the same.
But won't we still save the woman first over an elderly woman over an elderly man?
That's true. Again, I think that goes back to chivalry, gender roles, and the fact that a man is supposed to be the protector and provider till the end.
Wow. Men are just supposed to be slaves to the end. Yeah, let's go back. It was traditional in the past, and therefore it should be now. Right. Right.
Why don't we acknowledge historically that if women had it bad, men usually had it worse? Weren't men also oppressed?
Because that is a lie. It's not true. We weren't even allowed to vote until
No, shut up. It wasn't a lie. You're the liar.
what is it, like 1920, maybe 1940?
This woman doesn't even know when. She doesn't even know history. Because she doesn't need to know history when you're lying.
There's no way that men had it worse. We weren't even allowed to have a voice.
Yeah, I think men have been oppressed quite a bit throughout.
Of course, you guys know that men dying in the open seas is worse than women not giving their opinions in the voting poll.
History. I mean, we are the sacrificial lamb of the human species. So yeah, we have been oppressed at the hands of rulers, governments, and yeah.
And women, yeah. So you admitted we are sacrificing. It is impressive. Yeah, thank you. We're being oppressed. So if we're being oppressed, that does not have anything to do with reproduction, does it, dude? So here you're trying to sweep disposability under the rug of reproduction. And now you're admitting it's about oppression.
Didn't men have harsher tasks placed upon them? Weren't men sacrificed under more hazardous conditions?
I think that both tasks, the tasks assigned to men and the tasks assigned to women, often are the same difficulty, but just in different.
Bullshit. Bullshit. You lying sack.
ways. Like, as a man, I don't want to go to war and I don't want to fight
Yeah, war will kill you. Women are not going to get killed by doing the laundry.
someone in the street to protect people, to protect my woman or whatever, but at the same time, as a woman, I don't think going through childbirth and a menstrual cycle is easy by any stretch.
What does that got to do with anything? So men should be second-class citizens because women have this biological thing that happens to them? Why should I have less rights as a woman simply because she has a menstrual cycle? I have earwax. Does that mean women should have fewer rights than me? What a load of excuse making.
Does history justify an injustice that's been taking place?
Does history justify an injustice that's been taking place? Like, I'm gonna go no.
Yeah, she's struggling because it's an obvious answer, right? But now she's got to square her hatred towards men.
Slavery still isn't justified, and the history in this country is still oppressive to black people. So
Why are you pretending, lady, that you give a shit about black men? Because when you attack men, you attack all the men, including the men in your community. You include black men in with men being above women and getting all the goodies and oppressing women.
Well, why do we defend the injustice of male sacrifice just because it's happened in the past?
I think because society views men as a dime a dozen and disposable.
Again, yeah, okay. So that didn't answer the question at all. This guy's just too stupid to even think of a good lie or a good excuse.
And finally, why shouldn't the people who believe in male sacrifice be the first ones to be sacrificed?
Yeah, if you believe in sacrificing others, you first. That's a very good question. Thank you. It's complicated.
Because men are the biggest pawns in the game in society. And
Wow. So he's admitting it. We're just pawns. Right.
if you're a man with power and you're the one who's suggesting the sacrifice of other men, clearly you're not a pawn and you're higher up on the hierarchy of man.
Yeah, well, that's not an answer though, because those men in power don't use women as pawns.
I don't think our society does require the sacrifice of men. I think that
Really? After you admitting earlier that you expect men to be providers and protectors, and men should go to war, and men should die on the Titanic. So you're just a bold-faced liar. This woman's smarter than that doofus, but she just has no shame. She's just going to come out and lie her ass off.
that's what makes some men stand out above the rest is their willingness to do it without feeling like they need a pat on the back for it.
So, see, men she's all for equality. She's not like that. But the men that really stand out are the guys who are beneath me, who give me free stuff, who sacrifice their well-being for me, and they don't complain. They don't expect anything back. This is a fascist right here, everyone. Understand that. This is what you call this woman. She's a fascist. You're an enslaver. You do believe in slavery. Men are enslaved. And who are they enslaved by? You, not some government entity. You. You're my oppressor.
Why are we always talking about the oppression of women if men have oppressed men more than they've ever oppressed women?
Because women are more vocal about it. Women are.
So that is a non-answer again. So women are more vocal about it? I don't even know how to break that out. Like, Like, dissect that.
Are more upset about it, whereas traditionally
Bullshit. They're more upset about it. Fuck you. Men being silent because they know complaining doesn't do them any good does not mean women feel more oppressed.
like I said,
And you just admitted that women aren't oppressed.
men are just the pawns in the game of society, and we've kind of accepted that. I mean, throughout the years, throughout wars, throughout work, men do all the hard jobs. Men's
Yeah.
lives are sacrificed in war, and growing up knowing all that, it's just subconscious in the male brain.
Men should just take it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Every person was a complete misandrist. Didn't matter what gender they were, what orientation they were, what race they were. Every one of them are they know that men, especially this monster, they know that men are abused and oppressed, and they're the oppressors. And here they are, either coming right out and saying, yes, men should be oppressed. I'm going to throw some excuse out, or they're lying and saying we aren't. Right? Oh my God. It's complicated. I don't know how you got through this. These people are disgusting.